rumor the day after the race that he was lame, which turned out to be completely unsubstantiated. And Baptiste looked great. So I don't know where that came from, but it was everywhere.
A little bit of a heel bruise. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He probably stepped on a stone or something. I mean, everyone was crazy. They said he's doing fine. So he's in, and the second place finisher is in. Monza, anybody else declare yet? Just those two.
Bolt Doro might be going.
Who?
Bolt Doro.
Bolt Doro's going? Okay. I mean,
Not confirmed yet.
I'll give him one more chance. I would have thought, I guess Todd's going to wait for the Belmont and try to attack that way with Audible. I thought Audible would run well in the Preakness, but maybe he likes to space his races out, so he'll probably wait and take his shot. Audible will be tough in the Belmont. But I thought Audible ran a good race. I really did. I thought he deserved another shot. And I'm sure they're going to get Jack's my boy ready for the Belmont. He'll be a good Belmont. He'll probably be a good Belmont horse. I don't think he's going in the Preakness.
And no Bolt Doro. He said nothing.
Oh, he's not going now. Okay. It sounds like it's going to be a small field. There'll be a couple of strangers.
8 horses.
Tops.
Whip.
Yeah. He's going to win this race, then you get ready for the other race. And a lot of the other ones will come back. They like to take off and then ambush him. That's what they try to do. A lot of the guys who but he did kind of decimate the field. I mean, you would run the second place finisher back. They are. The third place finisher back. They're waiting for the Belmont. I would run back my boy Jack, who ran in the slop and also was the only one closing in the stretch, but he'll probably wait for the Belmont also. Matt in Brooklyn, what's up, Matt?
Hey, Mike, welcome back.
Thank you. What's happening? Back. Thank you.
You touched on it a little bit, but quick question. If this does become legal, or if it is legal already, I just turned on the radio now, are you going to, designate certain time at the show to give different strategies on betting and looking at some of the numbers? Because
I think we do.
Nobody really does that. I think that would be pretty cool if you spend some time on that.
I don't have anything against it. I'm not against it, so I would have no problem doing it. I just don't, you just don't want to spend too much time encouraging that, So I do a little of it. We have some fun with it in a couple of different ways. That is some of the stuff that is being presented, some of the stuff that's being offered. Let's see how this all takes. Let's see how it takes shape before we just make those decisions. Let's see how it takes shape. Drew and Mayapack, what's up, Drew?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
2 questions. One, do you see the in-game replay amount drastically increasing because of this?
The in-game replay,
primarily in basketball, holding up the gameplay.
Explain to me why. Explain to me why.
If you're betting play-by-play. If there's going to be this much sanction betting on it, the added pressure of making sure you get every call right.
I don't think so. I think it does put scrutiny at the end of the games, though. All you have to realize is, and this is their biggest complaint, anything that's heightened now as far as the controversy will be that much greater because of the scrutiny on it. So
right.
Think of a big decision in the NFL that leads itself to a lot of scrutiny. They'll be accusing everybody now of something. I've been watching this Matt Patricia thing. And first of all, I think it's outrageous to think that the Lions somehow did something wrong here. First of all, Patricia's been in the league for 12 years. There was nothing in his resume, nothing in his Patriot background. The Patriots gave a glowing review. Why would they think there was something that was 20 years old that they were supposed to look for? So I don't understand. It didn't, as they said, we vetted him. It didn't come up on a normal thing. It did not come up on a normal, What happened was they went and did an in-depth story, and somebody called them about this issue where 20 years ago he had been arrested for something that was dropped. But there were a lot of people who thought he was guilty of what looks to be a really serious crime. Now, the young lady, if you're not familiar with the case, the new Lion head coach was at spring break with a teammate. According to the young lady in question, she was from Indiana. They were at a beach in Texas, on the shore in Texas. They were down there during spring break where a lot of the kids congregate. she met these guys on the beach. Later, she was in a hotel room. According to her, they broke into the hotel room and attacked her viciously, violently, and repeatedly. They were arrested. There were 5 witnesses, including nurse, doctor, police officer, and I know there were 5. I can't give you the special. I know one was a police officer, one was a doctor, one was a nurse. She was treated at the hospital. They were arrested. She then said she was from Indiana. She was not going to be going back to that part of the country, and she decided that she couldn't go through with the stress and the pain of reliving it. She dropped the charges, and then 10 months later, they dropped the charges against the 2 of them. It was 1996 when it happened. He says he did not do it. They could not find the lady now. And they have given the Lions a hard time that the Lions should have known this. I don't believe the Lions should have known this. If it was a guy who was never in the league, you would have to vet him a lot more than a guy who was in the league for 12 years, had been interviewed for other teams. It had never come up. He was 12 years with the Pats, who gave him a glowing recommendation. Why would anybody think that this was in his past? So I don't blame the Lions at all. I don't think that's fair. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent or guilty. I have no way of knowing. But it is now being investigated, I'm told, by the NFL. Now, I don't know how anybody's going to get to any definitive word unless they find the young lady in question. Because the DA on the case said he did not remember the case when he was contacted, but did say, I don't take cases. I've never in my life taken cases to the grand jury that I didn't expect to win. I took it to the grand jury. I expected to win. That was his comment. He said, but I don't remember the case off the top of my head. So, it's a big story in Detroit. The other story that I thought was even crazier, and I haven't seen anything more on it, was this story that the Redskins cheerleaders went on a junket and were asked to pose topless. How is that possible? And they're suing the Redskins for like a lot of money because how is that? It's 2014. How is that ever possible? It never got out. Those are two wild stories in the NFL. John in Connecticut, what's up, John?
Mike, thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
Love that you brought that up before I had to. You know, I'm just curious with the Matt Patricia thing. I don't know what he did, but with the way the NFL has decided to become proactively, being a judge holier than thou, let's face it, on these decisions. I mean, it doesn't matter what local and state authorities say. The NFL, makes their own decisions. This guy cannot be a coach to start the NFL season for the Detroit Lions.
How do we know he did this or he didn't do it?
Who cares if he knows? They didn't care if Zeke Elliott did anything. There was an accusation, and that's all they needed to hear.
Wait a second. This is 20 years old.
It doesn't matter if it's 20 years old. What did they have on Zeke Elliott?
They had very current information on Zeke Elliott, and more than one incident.
They have a grand jury indictment on this guy.
Well, wait a second. The charges were dropped. Don't bring it. Forget your Dallas Cowboy bias for a second. Who the heck cares about that? Forget. No. Talk about Patricia on his own. Forget Zeke Elliott.
You want to talk about Patricia on his own?
Yes.
I'll talk about Patricia.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
How do you're telling me you know he's guilty?
What? Okay. Do I know he's guilty? I know he got a grand jury indictment.
So wait a second. He didn't go to trial. So how do you know he's guilty?
Because he didn't show up. You don't want to talk about the stuff from today because you have no proof that any of these guys today did anything.
What are you talking about? This is a guy. We're talking about Patricia's case. Nothing else. Don't bring any other case into it. This is his case. His case. How do you know he's guilty?
The NFL has proven they don't care what state.
No, they have not proven anything. John, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. You're a disgruntled Cowboy fan who's upset about Ezekiel Elliott. That's not what this is about. This is about Matt Patricia. I don't know if he's guilty or innocent. I have no idea. He did not have his day in court. They threw the case out. You don't get to call him guilty right now unless they're going to retry the case. So I'm not saying I know if he's guilty or innocent. I have no idea. He says he didn't do anything. He was wrongly accused. I don't know if he's wrongly accused or not. I don't know if he was really there or not. How would I know? Was he arrested? Yes. Did they drop the case because the girl dropped the case? Yes. I don't know if I'm not saying under any circumstances that I know he's innocent. I have no idea if he's innocent or guilty. None. But how are you going to accuse him of being guilty unless you retry the case? How else would you prove that he was guilty? It's a very strange case. Listen, and there seems to be more than a little evidence against him. So it's not like there's no evidence. According to the guys involved down there was 5 witnesses, and he was arrested, and they were going forward until the girl said, "No, I'm not doing this." And they said it happened a lot during spring break, because if a girl had an issue during spring break and they encouraged her to go forward, a lot of times she was from a different state and didn't want to go back there and get involved. She wanted to go home. Her parents tell her, "Go home and stay home. We're not going back here." She was from Indiana. And now they have not found, no one has found the young lady. They've been looking for her. Nobody has found her, is my understanding. But I don't know how you say for sure when Patricia says he is completely innocent. He's allowed to say that. He was never tried. I don't know how you prove he's beyond the shadow of doubt that he's guilty without having a trial. Or at least hearing from the young lady involved. So, I mean, I don't know where they go with this. But I'm not blaming the Lions because he was 12 years with the Patriots. The Lions would have assumed, I would have assumed, we know everything in his dossier from the Pats. He was there 12 years. Guy was in the league a week. Guy was in the league 12 years and never heard a word. Yeah, we heard that he put out the Rozelle thing. He wore the shirt that said "blank you, Pete," "blank you, Commissioner," during the thing with Tom Brady. So we know he wore that T-shirt. That's the only thing we've ever heard about Patricia. And I'm not saying Patricia's a good guy or a bad guy. I have no idea. I don't know him. But Belichick came out and said, "Hey, 12 years, we never had an incident with the guy." That doesn't make him innocent. Absolutely doesn't. But it doesn't make him guilty either. Kevin in Freehold. What's up, Kevin?
Hi, Mike. Welcome back.
Thank you. What's up?
Hey, Mike, just 2 quick points. The day after the Kentucky Derby, when Bobby Baffert walked justified out of the stall, and I believe it was just a rundown myself. I train horses,
Right.
but he was lame, and Bobby.
Yeah, but but the next day he could have a rundown. He could have a rundown, as you know.
Absolutely.
It was a wet track. He could have stepped on a stone. He could have had a rundown, which he probably did. So the next day you can't use that as a barometer. You got to wait till he comes back to the track in a couple of days.
Absolutely. And Mike, do you know the new pari-mutuel rule of the 299 to 1?
What is the new rule?
The IRS changed it now. Say if you put a $120 Pick 4 ticket in and you hit for $8,000, you don't pay tax no more.
Since when?
It started the first of the year. It's based on...
Oh, really? So what? Wait, you don't pay on $299 to 1 on any bets?
If you only bet a $2 straight bet. But if you bet like 120 combinations, like you put a part wheel together
Right.
and a pick 4 or trifecta exacta, you no longer pay that. You pay that on how many combinations you bet. So if you bet a
so they're
trifecta
basing it on the size of your wager now.
So this year at Saratoga, when you cash for $9,000, you walk right up to the window and you get your $9,000.
But as long as I didn't make a $2 bet.
As long as your wager is, if you make a $2 bet and you hit, you have to pay. But
What does the denomination have to break down to? How many? What is it? What is their configuration?
Well, I know on Kentucky Derby Day, my friend hit a trifecta for $9,000, and it was a $120 bet. And he just got his money
and for
right back.
$120 bet. Okay, so they created a new denomination. We don't know what it is, though. So it used to be on a $2 bet, you'd have to pay at $2.99 to 1. Now you're saying if you put enough money into the bet, you don't have to do it. I don't know what the configuration is, though. We'd have to wait and see. I wasn't familiar with that new rule. Back after this.